ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, July 16th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. We've got a special guest coming up on the program in just a few minutes where we'll be speaking with Will Smith. Will, hired as the general manager of Thundering Herd Sports Properties at Marshall University. What exactly does that mean? He'll tell us more about the position. Of course, for those of you that know Will, he's a graduate of Marshall, local kid, someone that a lot of people love. I mean, I mentioned it today on social media. Hey, I'm going to have Will on, and there were a lot of people already excited that he was back in Huntington, back at Marshall doing this job. So Will's going to come on the next few minutes. So if you've got any questions, of course, you can hit the text line now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to talk to Will in just a few minutes. And you can also find me on X. That is at Paul Swann. We've got baseball action coming up tonight right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. The Bluefield Ridge Runners spoiled Star Wars night last night for the Tri-State Coalcats with a 2-0 victory. So the teams meet again tonight. It is a 2-game set. So this is game number 2 of the short series. 6:45 is going to be our airtime from Jack Cook Field. It is also Gilligan's Island night. Special promotion, Dreama Denver, the wife of the late Bob Denver, is going to be on hand at the game. So Gilligan's Island night. How many of you remember Gilligan's Island? That's probably an interesting question to ask because, of course, this is an older television show. This isn't a show that just happened a few years ago. And I don't even know if you can stream Gilligan's Island. I'm sure it was on MeTV now. It's out there. Gilligan's Island is still out there. It's sort of like MASH. MASH is on somewhere right now probably. You can always find MASH on television. Just depends on where you need to look. But Gilligan's Island, how many of you remember Gilligan's Island? And do you have a preference? Were you more of a Ginger fan or a Mary Ann fan? Of course, you had Thurston Howell and his wife Lovey, and you had the professor, and of course you had the skipper and Gilligan, and I don't know how they got so far off course. It was only a 3-hour cruise. But it's Gilligan's Island night tonight, and I've always wanted someone to explain to me, how were they so unable to get off that island? Why were they still stuck on that island when the professor could make telephones out of coconuts? Someone answer me that question. I wonder if Dreama Denver can answer that question tonight. So if you're at the ball game tonight, you see her, ask her why the professor couldn't get them off the island a lot sooner. So that's going to be fun tonight for probably, I don't know, the kids might get into it as well, but definitely for the older kids at heart. That's coming up tonight, and we'll have that game for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. The one thing that I enjoy sometimes listening is, of course, the broadcast will have some spare time. There'll be a moment or two during the broadcast in which Ben, our play-by-play announcer, young man from Marshall University, he's maybe 20 now, 21. He's probably hitting that 21 mark. But I wonder if he even knows about the 3-hour tour and all of the adventures that Gilligan got into on the island. So I'm kind of curious to listen to the broadcast tonight, get his thoughts on that. So that's coming up. And, of course, we're going to turn our attention in just a few minutes, and we'll focus on Marshall Thundering Herd Sports Properties with Will Smith coming back. Will, he's been at Marshall before, and so he comes back in this new role. We'll talk to him in a few minutes, kind of get an understanding of what his job will entail. What does that mean in the grand scheme of things for Marshall University? And then we'll open the text line back up. Today is the official unveiling of Louisiana Tech as a new member of the Sun Belt, with the presser going on. And Marshall, of course, not so much impacted by this. West Division team, but Marshall fans definitely had an opinion on this. And now that you've had a chance to think about it, is it okay, Louisiana Tech? Do you feel like, okay, that's the decision, that's where the league's going, it's going to be fine? And honestly, I think it's going to be fine. Sunbelt's not going to miss a beat. It's going to be fine, and there's not going to be, a detriment to the league. But I know a lot of you still had some concerns about that, so we'll get into that with you later on with our text line, and we'll open that up. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So we'll take our first break, come back. We'll get the text line going, and when we continue, we'll be speaking with Will Smith. He's the new general manager of Thundering Herd Sports Properties at Marshall University. What does a general manager of Thundering Herd Sports Properties do? He'll tell us about that and more when we continue on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Taco Fest 3 Summer Circus is presented by Walking Billboard and Margaritas, Saturday, July 19th at Harris Riverfront Park in downtown Huntington. Enjoy more than 20 food vendors and area restaurants and their unique takes on tacos, nachos, burritos, and quesadillas. Plus a plethora of flavored margaritas, Mexican beers, and more. Taco eating contests for kids and adults, free carnival rides, and the Cincinnati Circus and more. Prizes include a free 5-day, 4-night carnival cruise for 2, free food, an 80-inch TV, and more. All at Harris Riverfront Park, Saturday, July 19th from 12 to 8. Rides start at 11. Sponsors include Sean Hornbuckle, Edward Jones, Rocco's, Texas Roadhouse, Western Regional Casa, Legends Barbershop, Sod's Wine and Spirits, Burke and Herbert Bank, and Margarita's Restaurant. Taco Fest 3 Summer Circus. Kids 12 and under get in free and ride the rides free. Saturday, July 19th at Harris Riverfront Park, downtown Huntington. Get more info on Facebook or at Taco Fest WV on Instagram.
Hurt at work? Tom Boggs is here for you in Huntington, and he's brought the expertise of Warner Law Offices with him.
Call 345-6789.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
The soundtrack of your summer is back. Mount West 9th Street Live, downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition. Presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. This Friday, July 18th, it's Emeritus College Night featuring Jeremy Short and special guest Corey Zorns on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks in the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Join us for a special evening July 25th with Souls of the Wounded in support of the historic Keith Albee Performing Arts Center. Purchase a ticket to tour this iconic venue, see the restoration in progress, and enjoy a beverage while experiencing the magic of this legendary theater. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August the 15th. 9th Street Live, driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Every Friday night through Labor Day on 9th Street in Huntington, between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kindred Communications. 9th Street Live, be there.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-672-6688. That's 800-672-6688. Again, 800-672-6688.
Hey Pirates fans, Yinzer Palooza Weekend, presented by Mrs. T's, is back. And it's time to bring that 412 energy to PNC Park. Join us July 18th to the 20th as the Buccos take on the White Sox for a weekend full of Pittsburgh pride. The celebration kicks off Friday night with a post-game Zambelli fireworks show. On Saturday, we honor Pittsburgh's own Mac Miller. And Sunday wraps up the weekend with a special giveaway. Every kid in attendance will take home a Jalapeno Hannah plush. Grab your tickets now at pirates.com/YinzerPalooza.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is now open, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I mentioned earlier tonight we've got Colecats baseball action at Jack Cook Field. Colecats going to be presenting Dreama Denver. It's Gilligan's Island night at the ballpark. And I asked you, were you Team Ginger? Were you Team Marianne? Why the professor couldn't get you off the island? A couple of people have already texted in and said that they were actually Team Marianne. So we'll keep that going. But I want to turn my attention now to a new hire at Marshall University. He's not a new face to the Thundering Herd, though. Will Smith, announced as the general manager of Thundering Herd Sports Properties. He, of course, a Marshall grad, went to Spring Valley, a beloved figure, according to all the likes I got on social media earlier today, and he's with us now on the program. Will, good talking to you again, and congratulations on the new job.
Yeah, Paul, man, great to be back. Appreciate you and everything you do for the Herd, but it was about 3 years away from the Herd, about 7 years prior to that with the Herd. So always great to be back, man. Connect with familiar faces and some new faces, and what an exciting time to be at Marshall, man. Got a lot going on, and that's always a good thing. So excited to be back, excited to get to work.
What was your journey like after you left Marshall as you tried, I'm sure, to get right back to Marshall?
Yeah, great question, man. So I spent some great years here at Marshall. Ticket office was my start with my friends over there, then jumped over to some academic fundraising, and then found myself here with Learfield in the general manager role. So took a step away 3 years ago, actually moving into the high school sponsorship space. So whole different world out there of high school sponsorships as large as it's gotten. Had 3 great years with a company known as Campus Multimedia that I got nothing but respect for. Great group of people, but just felt that now the time is right? It's an exciting time in college athletics to jump back in the frame, right? I hear all the time, and I've heard it over the last couple of weeks of that there's a lot of change in college athletics, and it's a scary time, and that's just not the way I look at it, right? I think there's a great time for opportunity and change, and here at Marshall, there's a lot of things going our way. We've been doing a lot of winning lately, so hopefully we can keep that up with me back on board.
Yeah, winning is always good. It helps the product. Now, for those that maybe don't understand exactly what your role is, general manager, Thundering Herd Sports Properties, maybe we should start with what Thundering Herd Sports Properties really does for Marshall.
100%. Yeah, it's a great question, Paul. So Thundering Herd Sports Properties is a subsidiary of Learfield, a massive company that does multimedia rights agreements all throughout the country. You got your likes of your Alabamas, your Georgias. They are all represented by Learfield. Thundering Herd Sports Properties is, of course, the subsidiary that's here on campus. We're actually right here at the football stadium. But when I say MMR or multimedia rights, a lot of people don't understand what that is. And pretty much that's the right to the Marshall logo that I'm looking at right now, or any in-stadium signage throughout all of our venues. So we sell all of that when it comes to, if you see a game at halftime, or you see a billboard that has blank, let's say a GoMart logo and then the Marshall logo, that all runs through our office here at Thundering Herd Sports Properties. So a little different than our friends over at the Big Green in fundraising, but still raising funds for the university and raising money for the Herd.
What are some of the challenges you anticipate, as you mentioned, the new landscape, name, image, and likeness? And, of course, you've got a lot to manage as the general manager. So what do you think that your biggest challenge is going to be, or where do you want to go first as you hit the ground running?
Absolutely. It's all about collaboration, right? And working. I tell you, it really helps knowing this area and knowing a lot of the people here, right? Something as simple as one of my good friends, Ryan Crisp, that everybody probably on the show knows well, is the associate AD here. So just having those relationships and being able to communicate and collaborate on things is a major, major thing that has to happen in college sports today, right? There's all these nuances. Everything changes by the day. Paul, no lie, there's a new rule every day or a rule taken away every day. It's just how it works in today's world. So we all have to work together. I tell people all the time, while, of course, I work for what would be called Thundering Herd Sports Properties, I'm a part of Marshall Athletics, and our team is a part of Marshall Athletics. So we're hand in hand with the Big Green, hand in hand with Ryan and his marketing team, and really just looking to push things forward, right? I mean, there's no wrong answers in college athletics today. Everything is changing so fast. You just got to keep up with the times, and that's what makes it fun, right? You sit down on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, and one email can change the day. So that's what makes it fun.
Now, you get your hand in a little bit of everything, and there's an umbrella term you mentioned, multimedia, but that's television, that's radio, that's print, that's in-stadium advertising. That's a little bit of everything. How challenging has that been in years past, in your experience, and what are you looking forward to, as these are all important components of Marshall Athletics? The voice of the herd, Steve Cotton, he is a connective thread for a lot of Marshall fans and television as well. Of course, Marshall's got to make money. So how excited are you to kind of make sure all those parts work well together and you're expanding?
Yeah, man. It's I told everybody over the last couple of weeks that the only thing would be better if I would have started about 2 months ago, right? Football's fast approaching, and like you said, we got a lot that we sell and a lot that we handle, but that's what makes it fun, right? And I tell people all the time, right, when it comes to partners in this community and Marshall alumni and corporate partners, right, businesses around the Huntington or even tri-state area or even nationally, right? There's so many people out there that love Marshall, and we've got an answer for you, right? If you're wanting to do something super small to support the herd, like you said, maybe something in print, maybe you're interested in radio, but we've got to kind of whatever you want. So just trying to tie all that together, make sure we're good on that. It's always fun when you start a new job and you're less than 60 to 70 days away from kickoff.
That's the best time, right? Just hit the ground running. You've got a lot of new things. Everybody is new at the Shoey. Not just you. There are a lot of new faces there. They might have been there just a few more weeks than you, but it's a whole new ball game at that Shoey building.
Yeah, man, and I tell you, I ran into Coach Gibson today and was able to chat with him a little bit, and just to hear his, first off, his history of West Virginia, right? The guy knows everything. I compare him to Mark Martin when it comes to his West Virginia history, right? Those two guys know everything about West Virginia, but also just the way he's fit in here, his love for the state, the staff he's built. I mean, everybody in that Shoey building is so great, and we've got a project going on the outside of it where we're working some stuff up that they're working on, so that's going to be really cool. But man, anytime you bring in a new football coach, I think there's always some angst, right, of like how are they going to mesh. And I'll tell our fans this guy is built different. He's a true West Virginia guy. He's a true Marshall guy. He loves Huntington. He loves our student athletes, and we're going to do great things, man. It's fun sitting up in the suites all day and watching them practice, running through some stuff, so it's been fun.
Our guest is the new general manager of Thundering Herd Sports Properties, Will Smith. So we've talked about some of the things that we see on the surface as far as what you do on a day-to-day basis, and that's important. What are some of the things that you do that maybe fans don't realize or goes unseen, or your team in particular? What's going on maybe sometimes behind the scenes that's really important that nobody knows about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's planning, right, of all these events, right? You come in the football stadium, Paul, and we were talking earlier about how you've come by a couple times, and you look at it now, and you just think a lot of people have not seen the inside of the stadium during the off season and don't realize all the signage that has to go up and all the pretty pictures that have to go up and all the banners and logo placements and things of that have to go up. People don't understand the digital signage piece, right? The video board setup, all of that is, locked arms with our office and making sure everything's updated. So A lot of people think that we just lay the football down come September and we kick it off, or late August, and that's the furthest from the truth, right? We're at it already, checking video boards and checking digital signage, and securing is something as crazy that people don't understand we do. Securing tent rentals for hospitality events, right, for partners that are coming in for football games or whatever it might be. So there's just so much that goes on. I could talk to you all day about all the different things we dip our hands into. But like I said, it's all about collaboration, working with our friends in athletics, and getting ready for a great season.
Well, I'll just limit you to maybe one or two things then. What's the most fun you've done so far? What's the thing that is exciting for you that you love coming back to?
It's the people, dude. I mean, it's just so much fun to come back to people that I worked with, just as, early as 3 years ago. But I mean, also to think about the people that, accounts that I manage and our office manages of Paul's season ticket holders that I sold tickets to back in 2017 or 2016 as a student intern. And it's all become full circle. So it has been so much fun just going out on meetings, of course, taking coaches, taking people from the athletic department to meetings to meet people that I haven't seen maybe in 2 to 3 years, and just reconnecting, hearing how things have changed, hearing how things are the same. And of course, trying to make their relationship with the Herd even stronger.
Our guest is the brand new general manager of Thundering Herd Sports Properties. He is a Marshall grad. He's also a Spring Valley boy. So I know Friday nights when you can get away, you'll be heading over to see the Timberwolves, and that is Will Smith with us. So as someone who's been at Marshall, then been away, and come back, is there a couple of things that you'd like to maybe get started that Marshall hasn't done yet? Or is there some opportunities out there that you would like to bring to the table that maybe should excite fans? Or is it something more that's going to be behind the scenes but still beneficial for Marshall?
Yeah. Paul, I think there's always room for growth, right? And to see where this place has grown since I've been gone, of course, done so many great things, right? We've got a brand new baseball field that you mentioned the Cold Cats are going to be over later tonight playing at, right? Jack Cook Field. So we got some great opportunities over there to do some really fun stuff with our baseball team. And then, as always, we're always looking for ways that we can enhance the game day experience. And it goes back to working with our marketing team and bringing in the right partners for the right fit. But like I said, it's a world. I'd love it if we just came and kicked the football off and everybody, it wasn't a hard job and it all went smooth. But there is a lot of planning into it. So it's all about bringing fun, partners into this thing, corporate partners, brands that can interact with our fans. Can we do more promos? What can we give away? Things of that nature. So always looking for things like that to make the game day atmosphere better.
Yeah, I've mentioned a couple of things. I don't know if you hear anything about Marshall plushies. That was my idea on this show. I just want to point that out. Then that's the kind of things that you get into as well. It might seem so minute and so token, but those are some of the things that you probably have your hands on. It's everything. It's not just a set, okay, radio, signage, TV. Okay, that's my job.
Yeah, man, it is everything. There's no doubt about it, right? From rally towels to T-shirts to yearbooks to, digital signage, field wraps, anything you could think of. And then, a lot of people put a lot of focus on football. Of course, rightfully so, right? It's the big hit in town, but we've got a pretty good soccer team that plays down the road as well at Hoops Family Field. So we got a lot of great opportunities there. Of course, that has been something that last time I hear was, of course, huge coming off of the national championship, but it's just continued to grow and grow and grow. So many opportunities there, and then you bring the whole baseball fold into it. It's just a great time to join the Herd. We've got packages of all shapes, all sizes, anything you want to do, right? We've got partners that do all sports. We got partners that do specific sports, and just love to bring people back to Marshall and connect them, their brand with our brand, and connect with the student athletes and everything in between.
Our guest is Will Smith, general manager of Thundering Herd Sports Properties. Will, anything you want to touch on? Maybe we missed over, or there's something maybe important to you that you'd like to talk about a little bit?
Man, there's nothing major, right? I mean, we're plugging away. I just hope fans are excited. Like I said, we've got an absolutely wonderful new football coach. We got a wonderful new volleyball coach. Of course, both of our soccer coaches down there are first class. So I think we're just on pace for a heck of a fall season. Of course, Paul, if you could make it to where we get a couple extra weeks to get ready for that, that'd be great. But I don't know if that's possible. They're going to kick the ball off whether we're ready or not. So really excited for a trip to Athens, Georgia. Let's hope we can do something special there. But then can't wait to come back here to Huntington, kick off football season, but also get down to soccer and volleyball and everything in between. And then as you know, Paul, once that fall-winter thing kind of happens when we're playing basketball and we're trying to finish up all these other sports, I won't know whether to turn left, right, forward, backwards. I won't know which way I'm going, but I'm sure it'll be a whole lot of fun.
Hire lots of interns. That's probably the best advice I can give you. Lots of interns.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Our guest is Will Smith, General Manager, Thundering Herd Sports Properties. Good talking to you, man. I know there's going to be a lot of things happening around the Thundering Herd that we can get into, so I look forward to that. And it's just good to have somebody come back home. And that's the great thing always when I talk to people who come back. It's because it's home. Marshall means so much. And you can just tell by talking to other people today, they're excited for you. So I'm sure that's got to make you really feel good that other people are excited for you coming back.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's people like you, Paul, man, that make it fun to come back to this place. It really is. People that love Marshall, people that cover it, people that support. Those people are awesome, right? And some of the conversations I've had this week, right, memories of wins, memories of losses, memories of great times, and memories of mess up, right? And they're all great, and they're all have to do with Marshall University. So I am so excited to be back. I appreciate you and all your coverage of the Herd. And as you know, if there's anything I can ever do for you, you get a hold of me, man. We appreciate you and everything you do.
Appreciate it, Will. And I don't know what you're talking about, these losses. What are you talking about? What are these losses
Listen, some of those are behind a closed curtain. We won't talk in detail about them. It's all wins around here, and come football, come soccer, come volleyball season here in the fall, we'll roll off some wins. That's for sure.
Oh, well, undefeated world champion Thundering Herd. That's my mindset going into this. You know,
that's what I want to hear, man. Yeah. I'm a positive energy guy, right? So
right.
Let's keep up the positive energy. We got a lot of great things going here. Now it's just the anticipation of getting there, right? Which is even more fun, right? Let's get there. I think we got fans first. Soccer as early as, like, I don't know what it was. I should know my dates by now, but it's early August, so that's hard to think about, but super excited for it, man. Excited to meet more Marshall fans. I'll be at every single game every week, it seems like. So come say hey to me. Let's catch up. If you got a business that you own or you work with that you think might want to get on with the Herd, let's figure it out. We got all shapes and sizes, and we're ready to work with the community to make this thing happen.
Will, good talking to you. Thanks for doing it so much, and we will get you back soon.
Awesome, Paul. Thanks so much, man. Really appreciate you and all you do.
Thank you, sir. That is Will Smith, General Manager, Thundering Herd Sports Properties. We open up our text line now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
The holiday may be over, but the stars, stripes, and deals at Cardinal Chevy keep on going. Hot new Silverados, 0% financing or save up to $13,000. New Equinox, $4,700 off. New Traverse, over $4,500 off. Plus up to 125% of KBB value for your trades. New ownership, improved processes, better deals. We're taking the market by storm. Visit our gorgeous facility right off I-64 and Hurricane or at cardinalchevy.com. Together, let's drive. See dealer for complete details.
I'm Nori, and when I was young, my mom opened our home to someone who needed a secure and safe place. She taught him what it was like to have someone care about you, having dinner at home or going out to eat together.
In West Virginia, families open their homes every year to adult family care.
Some folks need a little extra help, but everybody deserves a family.
Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an adult family care home finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Do Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-345-2789. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-345-2789. That's 800-345-2789 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-345-2789.
Save big on everything for your next outdoor project when you shop at Menards. Shop our huge in-stock selection of AC2 pressure-treated lumber, decking, fencing, and timbers. All easy to load in our drive-through lumber yard. Get free estimates fast with our easy-to-use fence and deck design programs in-store and on Menards.com. Don't forget to check out our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund breeding.
Oh.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is back open, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Good news earlier today from Marshall football. And you know it's getting closer to the start of the season when the awards and the watch list start to come out. Marshall redshirt junior tight end Toby Payne named as a 2025 nominee for the All-State AFCA Good Works team. That happened today. Payne's just one of 117 players that were named from the FBS level. And in all, there are 197 players. That's across all divisions. This is the second straight year that the All-State AFCA Good Works team has teamed up with the Werfel Trophy, kind of bring a little bit more visibility to it. And this means now that with Toby being named as a nominee for the Good Works team, he's also going to be on the watch list for the Werfel Trophy, which is given annually to the player, quote, who best combines exemplary community service with leadership achievement on and off the field. And of course, Werfel, a former Heisman Trophy winner and a college Hall of Famer, prestigious award. And it's one of those awards where it might not reflect the caliber of play. You might not be the best tight end in the country, but you could exemplify what it means to be a recipient of this nod, and you can do good works. Thus, that's what's really about when it comes to this trophy. So that's a big honor. That's one of those really, you got that as a feather in your cap now. To be on that watch list, be a nominee, to be somebody that is up for that. That's something that says a lot more than just I'm very good at football. So that's a pretty big deal for the Thundering Herd. And of course, as you've noticed, Marshall's community service, and not saying that it was bad previously, but it has accelerated and it's been more visible over the last few years. You see it across. Maybe it's because social media is amplifying it a little bit more, but that is something that's very important to not only Marshall, but the Sun Belt as well. There's actual competitions between institutions as far as community service is concerned and student bodies. That's a big deal. I don't know if that will count as points for Marshall in his quest to be the top school in the Sun Belt, but it's definitely a pretty big honor for Marshall. And, of course, for Toby Payne. Class act, top-notch guy, and hope that he's catching a lot of balls here in a few weeks. We went a little long in our last segment, so we're going to make up some ground. But I want to have plenty of time for you with our text line. So we'll do that when we continue. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Rest of the way is all about you when we continue on today's edition of The Drive right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
The Tri-State is quickly learning that the bow tie means a better buy. And I've got July 4th deals all month long. Number one selling F-150, now up to $10,000 off, 0.9% financing, or just $499 a month. Explorers, up to $5,500 off. Mustangs, up to $7,500 off. Plus, get up to 125% of KBB for your trade. New ownership, improved processes, better deals. Better deals. Visit University Ford in Huntington or at universityfordwv.com. See dealer for complete details.
The soundtrack of your summer is back. Mount West 9th Street Live, downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition. Presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. This Friday, July 18th, it's Emeritus College Night featuring Jeremy Short and special guest Corey Zorns on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks in the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Join us for a special evening July 25th with Souls of the Wounded in support of the historic Keith Albee Performing Arts Center. Purchase a ticket to tour this iconic venue, see the restoration in progress, and enjoy a beverage while experiencing the magic of this legendary theater. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August the 15th. 9th Street Live, driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Every Friday night through Labor Day on 9th Street in Huntington, between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kindred Communications. 9th Street Live. Be there.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
More fiber and laxatives, eh? Who are you? I'm future you. Future me? Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Our doctor figured it out. It's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. too. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
Today, a new creature walks among us, causing fear, mayhem, and injury.
Stay back, children.
Look out for the dreaded digital deadwalkers. With faces pressed against their little handheld devices, they put all good citizens in harm's way.
Oh, hey, dude, I'm walking here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you.
A public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep everyone well connected with healthy bones.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman to save money.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need feedthepig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, you can catch Talkline tomorrow, 10:06, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's get you caught up in the rest of the news today. Let's start with college football. Of course, the college football playoff. It's at 12. Does it go to 16? Well, there's been some back and forth between the two power brokers, the Big Ten and the SEC. So as we stand right now, the Big Ten not getting off its high horse is the best way to describe that, or at least in terms that I feel comfortable in sharing. The Big Ten, as far as I'm concerned, getting a little too big for its britches. But its preferred format for the college football playoff wants to guarantee the league 4 automatic qualifiers. So instead of getting one automatic qualifier and then every other team that gets in is going to be an at-large, you're going to have 4 automatic qualifiers from the Big Ten. That is its preferred format unless, and there is an unless, that the SEC decides to add a 9th conference game. That is according to reporting from On3. Do you think that we're ever going to see a 16-team playoff? It's real simple. It's not that hard. The lower divisions do it all the time. It's not that hard. You get in based on your performance during the regular season. I know not all schedules are made the same. It's a lot tougher in the SEC than it is the MAC. It's a lot tougher in the ACC than it is the Sun Belt, I'm sure. It's a lot tougher in the Pac-12 than it is Conference USA. I understand it, but the preferred format for most of the players right now is the 5+11 format. 5+11 gives you 5 at-large bids. That guarantees one bid to one of the so-called group of 5, group of 6 leagues. So Marshall has a shot if it is the highest ranked group of 5 champion after the final poll. And of course, the rankings from the committee will determine that. So if Marshall can win the Sun Belt Conference Championship, it's ranked and it's the highest ranked team, it's going to get a spot in the playoff. It's a lot tougher road than, say, Indiana or Ohio State or Michigan or any of those Big Ten teams would have to go through. But at the same time, there is a pathway. And there's going to be the majority of teams in this thing from the power leagues. There's no denying. You're going to take Appalachian State as an at-large over, say, Michigan? Probably not, unless Appalachian State's ranked higher. Now, the Sun Belt has to make sure that the league is competitive. And the problem here is that I think the league is competitive, so yeah, you're not going to have too many teams with unblemished records. It's not like that year that Liberty got in, going through the Conference USA slate and just got in before we switched over to the playoff format, got one of those access bowls. And that was, of course, a little ridiculous. That schedule was weak, and it was not deserving of getting into one of the major bowls, but that happened. So right now, that's where we're at. Unfortunately, the Big Ten and the SEC get the authority to determine the playoff format in 2026. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it right now. It's probably not going to change. It's going to be 12 teams. I think 16 makes more sense. 16 is going to give you more television inventory. 16 is going to give you more money. Ultimately, I think cooler heads will prevail. Whatever brings more money is going to win. Speaking of needing more money, just a couple other items were interesting to me today. North Texas is restructuring its athletic department staff because of the House versus NCAA case settlement. Downsizing. And you're going to see this probably across the board at more institutions. You're trying to either right size or downsize because it's just going to cost a lot more money to try to match the funds needed to compete with your peers. You know, you're not going to be chasing Texas. If you're North Texas, you're not chasing Texas or Texas A&M. But you're trying to make sure that you're competitive across the board. And one way to do that is selling naming rights. And Georgia State University has begun what it says is exploration of a naming partner for its Convocation Center. It's a brand new facility, and so opportunity to have a naming rights deal. And that means when other teams come in, if it's a well-known brand, you're going to get that name play. You're going to get the value of that team playing at that sponsored venue. Yeah, I don't know how much revenue that's going to bring in actuality for Georgia State, but we've touched on this before about Joan C. Edwards Stadium. Could you ever entertain taking her name off the more prominent spot and entering into a naming deal to bring in more money? Or would you be willing to see the Henderson Center possibly explore a deal where instead of calling it the Henderson Center or the CAM, it's going to be named after the sponsor? And, of course, there's going to have to be a premium to that. This might be the future. Maybe not the current facilities, but future facilities could see naming rights deals. So how long can Joan C. Edwards Stadium be named after Joan C. Edwards Stadium without a naming deal coming to the forefront? Same thing with basketball. Baseball, I don't think we're touching anytime soon with the Jack because just of the history and the legacy there. It's still too fresh. A lot of people behind that effort finally to bring it to fruition. And Jack Cook, unfortunately, never getting to see the ballpark, which he is named after. At the same time, long term, how much longer can some of these names withstand the test of time before an athletic director comes in and says, we need to find new ways to bring in revenue? And I'm not implying that a new athletic director will be coming soon that'll do that, but in the future, there could be an athletic director at Marshall University, looks at the books and says, okay, you know what? We could possibly bring in a lot more revenue if we open this stadium up to naming rights, or this arena to naming rights, or the court at the Henderson Center. Bring in, not just putting the logo on it, but actually going one step further. Call it X Court. Find little ways to start bringing in more revenue. But I think the naming rights is the big one. And so Georgia State looking to bring in some new revenue sources for their Convocation Center, which opened up in 2022. And then you see others trying to figure out ways to fund college athletics. UCF, $40 million in annual fundraising. That is an all-time high for that athletic department. And then Memphis announcing $32 million, which is record-breaking fundraising for them in the 24-25 year. Marshall would love to see fundraising near that level, close to that level. And, of course, I don't know what it's going to take to be able to generate that kind of revenue. Again, we're talking about different parts of the country. UCF in Florida, Memphis, of course. Memphis is its own thing, and that's a lot of revenue being generated from these programs. And then, of course, part of that's going to be NIL, and we're seeing, and you probably have heard about this, there's going to be a clash here over the House settlement because lots of parties are, I don't know if we're going by the letter of the law or we're kind of finding the loophole here. The NIL deals that are out there, a lot of those deals are being rejected, and we've touched on that before. Yeah, the new agency in charge sending out a letter to schools saying a lot of those deals are going to be rejected because they hold no valid business purpose. You can't just roll up and give someone a check and say, all right, this is your name, image, and likeness check. Come play for, name your school there. It's a novel idea for boosters. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to pay for that player. Yeah, I'm going to be a big booster here, and I'm going to pay for that player. Which, of course, that was going on for years. It was just the quiet part that wasn't spoken out loud for some football programs, especially in the South, I would think. So there's a lot going on in college athletics. We're going to turn our attention, of course, to baseball coming up tonight, 6:45 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. It's going to be the Colecats looking to get some revenge after the Bluefield Ridge Runners spoiled Star Wars night last night, 2-0. Maybe the good luck of Gilligan and his castaway friends on Gilligan's Island will help. Of course, I'm promoting that because, that's kind of what we do here at Kinder Communications. We're into the big promotions, and it's Gilligan's Island night at the ballpark. Dreama Denver, wife of the late Bob Denver, going to be on hand. We're going to have the broadcast right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And, of course, I still wonder how many people of a certain age even know what I'm talking about right now. It's not like MASH. MASH is on everywhere. Is Gilligan's Island? Of course Gilligan's Island's on everywhere. You can watch Gilligan's Island to this day, right? I mean, it was big. As a kid, when we only had like 5 channels, it was a big, big show. And the professor could never get that boat fixed. I mean, he could build highways made out of bamboo, but he couldn't fix that boat. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.